Governor Fahoro.
Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to say a few words in regards to a few issues of grievance that I have. One of which I just want to mention is, in addition to the comments made or the response made by our Prime Minister to a question asked of him regarding Waffi Golpu, I just want to commend him for that effort to ensure that the people, our people, get better benefits from these resource projects, that districts and provinces are also involved in these efforts. Oftentimes we see developers turn up, they grab a permit or license from Waigani, and they turn up to a province, to a district, without the knowledge of the district, without the knowledge of the province, and often without the knowledge of the landowners. They gather these landowners of theirs from the back of Boroko Post Office or somewhere. You know, we know these characters carrying their manila folders and walking through all the corridors, lobbying for whatever. Most of them are actually not landowners. That's why they're here in Mosby. The genuine landowners are actually on their land, in their district, in their province. And oftentimes they're ignored, overlooked. So I want to commend the Prime Minister for making this effort. He himself, being a resource owner, coming from a resource area, and having gotten himself involved from the ground up, is aware of the importance of these efforts. And I just want to add that, Prime Minister, please don't forget the Mambare project and the Wowoget project in Oro province. We require funding to assist our landowners from these two areas. Very large nickel and copper deposits in these areas in Oro province. And we would like to work with the national government and screen the developers that are coming into our province. Now, here's the issue I want to talk about. It seems that the systems we have, and I refer especially to mining, are such that we are issuing permits and licenses to all manner of characters. Many of these characters are boutique operators. They don't have the wherewithal to actually develop those projects. They come and they develop them to a stage where they can then auction them or sell them off to the highest bidder, often with very little to no benefit at all to the resource owners, to the district or the province. This has to stop. We have to review these laws. We have to make them our laws. Many of these laws are colonial laws. They're not our laws. They're laws that were created by the colonial powers to benefit them, not us. That review is yet to be undertaken to some holistic effort where we can be satisfied that we are actually putting in place our laws to protect our interests, to benefit our people. So, Prime Minister, I want us to take it one step further and develop a template which can be applied to all such resource projects. So it's not just, say, the people of Waffi Golpu who will benefit, or the people of some other area that will benefit, while others have to struggle and find their own way to do it. But let's develop a template where it's clear what it is that's supposed to go to the landowners, the resource owners, what is supposed to go to the district, and what is supposed to go to the province and to the national government. And I must say, this habit of wardens' hearings being carried out without informing the provinces or the districts has to stop. Who sponsors these wardens' hearings? Oftentimes it's sponsored by the developers. The developers, they shouldn't be sponsoring this. That's a conflict of interest. Wardens' hearings should be done in a holistic manner whereby the national government communicates with the provincial government and the district government, and everyone is there present with the genuine landowners, not the ones that you are collecting from the back of Boroko Post Office or somewhere else. And that process must be followed until we are all satisfied that we are dealing with a credible developer. Credible developer. Our gates are so wide open that all types of creatures are coming into this country. Many of them are not genuine. They don't care about you and I, or our people, or our future. Classic example is how we went and signed that ridiculous arrangement with a company that became a monopoly for petroleum products in this country. I won't mention that company. We all know this company. When they were forced to pay, they decided to sell off to another similar character that is now holding our country to ransom. Again, I won't mention that company, but we all know this company. That's my particular grievance debate on this issue to do with mining resource or mineral resources or such resources. The other matter I wish to raise is to do with the Protection of Transport Infrastructure Act 2010. That act was specifically created to prevent the abuse or destruction, vandalism of transport infrastructure. But it has never been enforced till now. For instance, when we talk about roadblocks, roadblocks are everywhere. People put up roadblocks whenever they feel like it. Even here in Mosby, it's happening. And nothing is done about it. They'll put a roadblock on the pretext of patching a pothole, and then they'll compel motorists to pay as they pass by. In some instances, they do this and then they commit serious crimes, violent crimes, especially against our most vulnerable, our women motorists, for instance. And these roadblocks are causing a lot of problems in the whole of this country. My province especially, they put up roadblocks frequently, almost on a weekly basis. We report them to the police will turn up and dismantle the roadblocks, but never arrest the people who are perpetrating these roadblocks. That's why this act was created. And the penalties are quite severe. They range from 50,000 to 1 million kina and 7 years in prison. And they're all contained in Part 4 of that particular act. Now, I've consulted my police, my PPC, and I've asked, and he said, we are yet to put together the wording of charges so that we can charge these people. Because there's been no training or there's been no effort in the police force or the Attorney General's office to bring the police together and say, those who are operating at the front lines, this is what happens when a roadblock is conducted and how you deal with it. So, Minister of Police and Attorney General, please take note. This needs to be done. If we can't enforce these little laws, then we are lost when it comes to enforcing larger laws. I mean, they're doing it here in Port Moresby. In Port Moresby, 6 Mile is one of the favorite places I notice roadblocks. And also in town. They'll put up roadblocks there on the pretext of fixing a pothole. In my province, they put them up on a weekly basis. Someone's pussycat died, they'll put a roadblock up there on the spot. And they will block traffic from the wharf all the way to town, causing serious inconvenience to all the citizens of that province. So something needs to be done about it. Minister of Police, please take note and take action on this particular matter. The other grievance debate issue that I have, which I wish to raise, is a question that I had wanted to ask to a very good Minister for Department of Provincial and Local Level Government, who's doing a magnificent job. I commend you, Minister, and Prime Minister, this is one of your ministers who is a performing minister. It's a performing minister. In fact, I should say, Prime Minister, you should, on a 6-monthly basis, publish the performance conduct of your ministers. And we can see which ones are performing and which ones are not performing. There are many capable people in here who can take over from those who are not performing. Yeah. In that way, we are really being transparent. Just a suggestion. But anyhow, the questions I had wanted to raise were in regards to a governors' conference that was held in August this year. Okay? And some very good conclusions came out of that particular conference. Okay, now the governors have been complaining and raising their concerns about all manner of issues, including block grants and direct funding to the police in the provinces, direct decentralization of works in the province. And I know the good Minister for Works, who gets so many questions, has been working on this. He's also another performing minister. I will commend him for this, you know. But I wanted to ask, and good Minister, you can take note and perhaps next week when we continue, maybe answer. After that conclusion, the governors had brought their issues to a technical committee that you had established, led by Dr. Thomas Webster, one of our most eminent experts, academics, who is very knowledgeable about districts and provincial government systems, and who is very knowledgeable about the 1995 reforms that we've spoken of at great length in this parliament, the 95 reforms, where we fixed something that wasn't broken, you know, in 95. In fact, many of the problems that we talk about here are caused by those reforms, you know. Anyhow, it was decided at that conference that we would revert to pre-95 reform systems. You know, this was great news for some of us. And then we would consider such things as whether to have an upper house and regional elected members. And maybe governors should go back to the provinces and become premiers and run the provinces. These are considerations that were made. So, Minister, perhaps you can bring that report and also advise us. How is this going to happen? What will happen after those outcomes? Was there any funding in the budget for this? You know? Because that's a very important effort, probably one of the most important reform efforts undertaken in this country that needs to be progressed. So those are my grievance debates.
You've past your grievance debate time. You may conclude.
I've got 20 minutes, so I'm about to conclude. Good acting speaker who's doing a magnificent job. Thank you very much. Calm down. Finally, my comments are, acting speaker, and this to you and your colleague of other speakers. There's an army of you out there. What do you guys do with this grievance debate? Because we become very emotional and theatrical with our outbursts here. But what happens after that? Who are the responsible ministers? Are you guys tracking this? And how can we, those who ask and who present these grievance debates, be informed about those actions? That has to happen. In this day and age, this should be happening, whereby we are sent an email of some sort informing us that your matter or your grievance debate was attended to by this minister. Because some ministers are responsible and they do attend to their matters, but not all of them. There are a few of them who are quite irresponsible. I won't name them, but I'm just saying.
Okay, thank you, Governor. You may resume your seat.